So let's jump right in. So what happened with the Fire Phone?
First of all, it's really early. And so we've had a lot of things we've had to iterate on at Amazon. You guys may remember something called auctions. That didn't work out very well. Then we launched something called Z Shops, which morphed out of that. We launched Marketplace, which became our third-party seller business, which now represents more than 40% of units sold on Amazon. It's a great business for us. If you look at our device portfolio more broadly, our hardware team is doing a great job. You know, the Kindle is now on its 7th generation. The Kindle Voyage, the new kind of premium product, is just completely killer. And you know, Fire TV Stick, we're having trouble building enough. Amazon Echo, which we just launched. So there's a lot of activity going on in our device business. And with the phone, I just ask you to stay tuned.
So what was the mistake with the phone? Or are you saying there's no mistake, we knew it was going to flop?
I think it takes more time to analyze something like that. Again, my job, one of my jobs as the leader of Amazon, is to encourage people to be bold. Experiments are by their very nature prone to failure, but big successes, a few big successes compensate for dozens and dozens of things that didn't work. So, you know, bold bets, AWS, Kindle, Amazon Prime, our third-party seller business, all of those things are examples of bold bets that did work, and they pay for a lot of experiments. I've made billions of dollars of failures at Amazon.com. Literally, billions of dollars of failures. And you know, you might remember Pets.com or Cosmo, or give myself a root canal with no anesthesia very easily. None of those things are fun, but they don't matter. What really matters is companies that don't continue to experiment, companies that don't embrace failure, they eventually get in a desperate position where the only thing they can do is make a kind of Hail Mary bet at the very end of their corporate existence. Whereas companies that are, making bets all along, even, big bets, but not bet the company bets. I don't believe in bet the company bets. That's when you're desperate. That's the last thing you can do.
But we should stay tuned for an evolution of the phone. How long do we have to stay tuned?
Who knows? Ask me in some number of years.
You talk about what a lot of CEOs do in terms of trying to drive up the stock price, selling the stock. You told me something when we were outside extraordinary, which is that you spend 6 hours a year on investor relations.
Mm-hmm. And we do a lot of things unusual there. So, we don't meet with our biggest investors. We meet with investors who have low portfolio turns. Many investment funds have very high portfolio turns. They turn their portfolio multiple times per year. They're not really investors, they're traders. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just a different thing. But where are you going to spend your time and your energy is one of the most important decisions you get to make in life. We all have a limited amount of time. Where you spend it and how you spend it is just an incredibly levered way to think about the world. And so if you're going to spend time, explaining the company to people, you should do it to people who are long-term investors rather than traders. That's our point of view.
How dependent is Amazon on you these days? You famously had a very terrifying experience in a helicopter. Last year you had a very terrifying experience in the Galapagos.
The kidney stone was just painful. Don't recommend that. Stay hydrated. Anyway, my opinion is that I can do some things at Amazon that would be hard for other people to do only because of my history with the company. And as the company has grown, of course, my job has changed very much. My main job today is I'm kind of I work hard at helping to maintain the culture. A culture of high standards, of operational excellence, of inventiveness, of willingness to fail, willingness to make bold experiments. I'm the counterbalance to the institutional no who can say yes. I'm not going to be here forever. Many of the traits that make Amazon unusual are now deeply ingrained in the culture. In fact, if I wanted to change them, I couldn't. Cultures are self-reinforcing, and that's a good thing. We get sometimes people come to the company and they find Amazon very boring because we don't have enough competitive zeal. Some annual planning processes in some companies literally start with who are our 3 biggest enemies, and then here's how we're going to hold them at bay or defeat them. And we don't have such a list at Amazon. It's not how our annual planning process works.
If there was no negotiation and you could dictate to everybody exactly what the terms were going to be, what would the future be for authors?
The most important thing to observe is that books don't just compete against books. Books compete against people reading blogs and news articles and playing video games and watching TV and going to see movies. Books are the competitive set for leisure time, and it takes many hours to read a book. It's a big commitment.
In addition to everything else that we've talked about, make rockets.
Yeah.
You want to go into space.
Yes.
First of all, what is it about space that captivates you? Second, what are you doing that's different? And third, just talk about how hard it is. We just saw Richard have an accident that has set everybody back for a long time. But talk about space. What's the vision there?
First of all, and probably most fundamentally, you don't get to choose your passions choose you. And for whatever reason, when I was 5 years old, Neil Armstrong stepped onto the moon. I was imprinted with this passion for space and for exploration, and I think it's important. I could come up with lots of rational reasons why it's important, and I really do believe them. My vision is I want to see millions of people living and working in space, and I think it's important. But I also just love it. I love change. I love technology. I love the engineers that we have at Blue Origin. They're brilliant. The initial mission is suborbital space tourism. We're also designing a orbital vehicle. That vehicle uses Russian engines, and because of all the things that are happening in Ukraine and so on, that supply of engines has become less certain, so they want to switch away from a Russian-made engine, and they chose Blue Origin to provide that engine. So it's a very exciting endeavor, great team. They're just doing a wonderful job, and it's fun.
When are you going?
I don't know. I mean, when we're ready. I like our architecture. We have the vehicle can fly autonomously, so throughout the entire test program, it flies all by itself and comes and lands all by itself, so we don't need test pilots. I'm excited about it, but this is not a business where you can rush things or cut corners. Our motto at Blue Origin is gradatum ferociter. It stands for step by step ferociously, one step at a time.
Jeff, huge privilege and a pleasure to have
Thank
you.
you, Henry.
Thank you so much. Thank you all.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
If you're looking to start a new side hustle or even a new business, check out the link in the description below.